Listen up, my friends. What if I told you that you might be throwing away almost half of your gardening year without even realizing it? And that some of the plants in your yard could actually get you fined or forced to remove them? Most people assume if a plant looks pretty and bears fruit, it must be harmless. But right now there are 14 fruits that can quietly wreck your garden, damage entire industries, or put you on the wrong side of the law. My name is Luther Chandler, and you are watching Garden Life Studio. On this channel, we talk about real-world gardening. What is safe to grow, what is smart to grow, and what can cause trouble if you do not know the rules. Today I'm going to walk you through 14 controversial fruits, why some of them are restricted or banned, and how you can protect your garden and your wallet. Before we start, do me a favor. Subscribe to Garden Life Studio, turn on notifications, and share this video with anyone who gardens at home. Not knowing this stuff can be very expensive. Alright, let us dig in. Why fruits get banned. Let us quickly talk about why fruits get banned or restricted in the first place. It usually comes down to three big reasons. 1. Toxins that can seriously harm or kill people. 2. Diseases that threaten billion-dollar crops like wheat, citrus, or lumber. 3. Invasive species that destroy forests, grasslands, and wildlife habitat. There was a real case of a grandmother in Pennsylvania who was fined $5,000 for growing a fruit she did not know was restricted in her state. No bad intentions, she just did not know the law. So as home gardeners, we need to know what we are putting in the ground. While you watch, tell me in the comments what fruits you are currently growing. I am curious how many of these show up in your gardens. Illegal fruit 1, ackee, the silent poison. First up is ackee. Ackee looks beautiful. Bright red pods that open up to show shiny black seeds. In some Caribbean countries, properly prepared ackee is a traditional food. But if it is harvested or prepared at the wrong stage, it can be deadly. Ackee contains a toxin called hypoglycin. Eat the wrong fruit and you can develop Jamaican vomiting sickness. Intense nausea, vomiting, seizures, coma, and possibly death without fast medical care. There is no reliable home way to tell if an ackee fruit is safe. No obvious color change, no smell, nothing you can trust with your life. Because of that, fresh ackee is not allowed into the United States. Trying to bring it in can lead to confiscation and heavy fines. Growing it on your property can also get you into serious trouble in many areas. It is stunning to look at, but this is one fruit I would never plant. Illegal fruit 2, black currants, from favorite to target. Next is black currants. A century ago, black currants were extremely popular in the United States. Families made jams, jellies, and desserts. The federal government even encouraged people to plant them. Then scientists discovered that black currants can host a fungus called white pine blister rust. That fungus was attacking white pine forests that supported the lumber industry in New England and the Midwest. Those pines were essential for building homes, making furniture, and supporting local economies. So the government reversed course and launched a massive eradication campaign. In states like Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and parts of New York, planting black currants became illegal. Plants were ripped out, sometimes by officials, and owners could be fined. Today, some states have loosened up and allow certain resistant varieties, but many northeastern areas still restrict or ban black currants entirely. A lot of gardeners have no idea. If you live in the Northeast and inherited old berry bushes, it is worth checking what they actually are and what your state allows. Illegal fruit 3, miracle fruit, taste that can trick you. Now let us talk about miracle fruit. Miracle fruit is a small red berry that temporarily changes how you taste sour foods. After eating it, lemons taste like lemonade. Vinegar tastes sweet. It is a wild experience. The effect comes from a protein called miraculin that alters your taste receptors for about an hour. So why the concern? Authorities worry that miracle fruit can mask warning signs. Your sense of taste is one of your first defenses. If food is spoiled, we usually taste something wrong. With miracle fruit in your system, that warning can disappear. There is also potential for misuse, like disguising the taste of medicines or other substances. Miracle fruit is not openly grown everywhere and often sits in a legal gray area. In states with strict agricultural rules, like California and parts of Florida, it can be extremely difficult or nearly impossible to legally bring in plants or fruit. Is someone going to raid your yard over one plant? Probably not. But for most gardeners, there are safer fruits to experiment with. Illegal fruit 4, calorie pear. The official regret fourth is the calorie pear, sometimes sold as Bradford pear and other ornamental names. For years, city planners and homeowners loved this tree. It grows fast, explodes with white blooms, and resists many pests. But birds spread the small fruits, and the trees escaped cultivation. Now, in many states, calorie pear forms. Dense, thorny thickets, blocks for wildlife and people, and even punctures tractor tires. States like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina have now banned selling or planting calorie pear. In some places, officials encourage or require removal, and landowners can be billed for removal costs. This is one of those plants the government once promoted and now deeply regrets. Illegal fruit 5, autumn olive. The fast-spreading health food. Next is autumn olive. The berries look beautiful and taste surprisingly good, like a tart mix of cranberry and pomegranate. They are loaded with antioxidants. On paper, they sound like a health food dream. The problem is sheer numbers. One shrub can produce around 200,000 berries in a year. Birds eat them and spread the seeds everywhere. Autumn olive also changes the soil by fixing nitrogen. Native plants evolved in low nitrogen conditions. When autumn olive supercharges the soil, many natives die off, leaving pure autumn olive thickets. States like Connecticut, Wisconsin, and Virginia now treat it as a serious invasive. Planting or selling it is banned, and landowners can be required to remove it. It is a great example of a plant that is good for human nutrition, but terrible for the ecosystem. Illegal fruit 6, Himalayan blackberry, beautiful but brutal. In the Pacific Northwest, Himalayan blackberry is infamous. The blackberries taste amazing, but the plant is a monster. It can grow up to 20 feet in a single season, form dense, spiny jungles, and puncture even heavy tractor tires. Abandoned properties can disappear under Himalayan blackberry in less than a decade. It spreads by seed and by canes touching the ground and rooting. Landowners and state agencies in places like Oregon and Washington spend huge amounts of time and money trying to control it. If you live in that region and see it on your land, remove it early before it takes over. Illegal fruit 7, Russian olive, stealing water. In dry western states, Russian olive is public enemy number 1 along streams and rivers. The tree produces small silvery fruits that birds spread. Once established, Russian olive drinks roughly 3 times more water than many native plants. In states like Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and New Mexico, where water is limited and every gallon matters, Russian olive lowers water tables, dries up creeks and irrigation channels, and pushes ranchers and farmers toward crisis. It also releases chemicals into the soil that block other plants from growing nearby. Many Western states now have strict rules against it. If officials find Russian olive on your land, they may remove it and send you the bill. Illegal fruit 8, buckthorn, chemical warfare in the forest. Next is buckthorn, a shrub with small black berries that cling to the branches in winter. Buckthorn is banned or heavily restricted in many northern states, including Minnesota and Illinois, because it literally rewrites forest ecosystems. It spreads fast because the berries act as laxatives for birds, sending seeds everywhere. It leaves out earlier in spring and stays green longer in fall than native plants. Worst of all, buckthorn releases chemicals in the soil that prevent other plants from germinating or growing. Forest floors turn into almost pure buckthorn. Wildflowers vanish, tree seedlings die, and bird and insect populations drop. States and landowners spend millions every year trying to push it back. Illegal fruit 9, durian, the fruit that clears the room. Now for the most controversial fruit on earth, durian. In Southeast Asia, people love the flavor, creamy, rich, and complex. But the smell is legendary in the worst way. Imagine rotting onions, sewage, and fuel mixed together. Durian is banned in many hotels, subways, and public buildings overseas, and in some places in the United States, it is restricted by building or local codes because of the odor. In tropical parts of the United States, there can also be agricultural concerns about disease. Will the durian police come for your backyard tree? Probably not. But if you have close neighbors, this is one fruit that can create massive conflict and complaints. Illegal fruit 10, common barberry, threat to wheat. Common barberry is a shrub with red berries that was once popular in ornamental gardens and for preserves. The big problem is that it acts as a host for wheat stem rust, a fungus that can reduce wheat yields by 70% or more. In the early 20th century, wheat was central to national food security, so the government launched a huge eradication program in wheat states like Montana and the Dakotas. Millions of barberry bushes were destroyed. Planting them became illegal. Even today, common barberry remains banned in many wheat-growing areas. If an inspector finds it on your property, you can be required to remove it and possibly face fines. Illegal fruit 11, trifoliate. Orange, hidden disease, host trifoliate orange looks like a small citrus tree with fuzzy, very sour fruits and nasty thorns. The fruits are not the real issue. The problem is that trifoliate orange can carry citrus diseases such as citrus canker without showing symptoms, spreading them to commercial citrus groves. In states like Florida, Texas, and parts of the Southeast, those groves are worth billions of dollars and support thousands of jobs. For that reason, trifoliate orange and some of its hybrids are restricted in many citrus regions, and removal may be required near commercial orchards. Illegal fruit 12, manchineel, little apple of death. Now we come to manchineel, one of the deadliest trees on the planet. It produces small green fruits that look like crab apples. They smell sweet and innocent. A single bite can cause throat swelling, intense pain, internal bleeding, and potentially fatal organ damage. And you do not even have to eat it to be injured. Standing under a manchineel tree in the rain can cause skin burns. Touching the bark can cause blisters. Burning the wood releases smoke that can blind you. In coastal parts of southern Florida and United States territories where it naturally grows, authorities mark manchineel trees with warning signs. You are warned not to touch them, not to stand under them, and definitely not to taste the fruit. If you are ever on a tropical beach and see a small apple on a shady tree, leave it alone. This is one plant where curiosity can literally kill you. Illegal fruit 13, privet, the hedge that ate the South. For many years, privet hedges were everywhere in American suburbs. They looked neat and tidy. People loved them. Now, states like Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina see privet as a major invader. Birds spread the berries, and privet takes over forests and fields. In invaded areas, plant diversity can drop by 90%. Native plants vanish, insects cannot live on privet leaves, and birds lose both habitat and food. Over 1 million acres of southern forest are now impacted. Control and removal cost millions every year. That perfect hedge turned out to be a serious ecological mistake. Illegal fruit 14, starfruit, carambola. Hidden risk for kidneys. Our final fruit is carambola, better known as starfruit. It is beautiful, golden, and star-shaped when sliced. It tastes sweet and tangy and looks like the perfect tropical snack. Certain varieties, however, contain a toxin called caramboxin. Healthy kidneys can usually filter it out, but people with kidney disease, even early disease they do not know about, can be seriously harmed. Caramboxin can build up in the blood and attack the nervous system. Symptoms include constant hiccups, confusion, muscle weakness, seizures, and sometimes death. Because of this, and because starfruit can also carry diseases that threaten citrus groves, some states such as Texas and Arizona have strict rules on certain varieties. The bigger lesson and how to protect yourself. So what do all these fruits teach us? Some are banned or restricted because they can poison people. Some are banned because they threaten huge agricultural industries. Others are banned because they destroy ecosystems and push out native plants and animals. As gardeners, it is not enough to ask, "Can I grow this?" We also have to ask, "Should I grow this where I live? And is this legal in my state? Have you ever seen any of these fruits in your area? Have you noticed removal crews cutting down invasive plants or signs warning people away from certain trees? Tell me in the comments what state or region you are in and what you have seen locally. I read every single comment, and I am genuinely curious how this looks across the country. If you want to keep learning which plants are risky, which ones are safe, and how to grow food legally and responsibly, make sure you subscribe to Garden Life Studio and turn on notifications. Garden smart, garden legally, stay informed, and please share this video with anyone you know who gardens or grows fruit at home. They deserve to know which plants come with hidden danger. I will see you in the next Garden Life Studio video. Until then, get your hands in the soil, grow wisely, and remember, the best time to plant was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Happy gardening, everyone.